I'm excited to introduce Ginez Toromazote. Ginez joined Phello in November 2021 and is currently a Director of Sales at SCB Global Ltd. Ginez, thanks so much for sharing your experience using Phello, and congratulations on finding your new Director of Sales position.
My pleasure. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So, why did you join Phello?
I love the platform. Actually, a good friend of mine introduced me to Fellow, and I thought it would be a great way to navigate through my network in a way that would be conducive to the next step in my career. I really like the approach of having my network tell me or give me some feedback as to how they see me and where I add value. So it was a very natural progression for me to join the platform.
Why is networking important in your career?
Networking in my career is paramount because this is truly the way that we vet just about anything we do in our lives. It's kind of purchasing a car. If you have a buddy that has a car that you like, you might go ask, "Hey, why do you like the car? What are the things that are important to you? How do you make the buying decision? And maybe you can help me understand if this is a good fit for me." And in that context, is good to formulate those relationships in a way that are conducive to not only helping yourself but helping giving back to your network as well, in order to be able to help people as much as you gain benefit from it.
Before joining Phello, how did you find most of your roles or other opportunities?
I did network a bit, but typically through the traditional recruiter avenue, LinkedIn post, really targeting companies that I thought would have a strategy that I would be a good fit for. So it's a lot of guessing in that process, and I think coming to Fellow eliminated some of that. Um, some of the context that you perhaps take for granted when you can open up a conversation with a friend that can give you sort of the inside scoop instead of what is being advertised.
How does the time value of a job board or LinkedIn relate to the time value of using your network to find other opportunities?
I think it's somewhat comparable. I think Fellow definitely it is a focused platform and tool that really allows you to tap into your network and be active and proactive in getting out there what is important to you as a person and be able to fit within those parameters instead of trying to I guess what could work or what couldn't work. At least that's how it worked for me.
Before joining Phello, how many contacts did you consistently communicate with throughout the year? And today, how many contacts do you communicate with on a regular basis?
I so I'm a networker. I guess most of my people would most of my friends and peers and colleagues will tell you that I'm a fairly good networker, but I would probably touch 30 to 40 people a month. As if you add that times a year, call it maybe 500 people. I think through this process, I was able to contact 250 people within like 45 days. Um, and I was able to really be in contact with well over 500 people in just over a couple of months.
After reaching out to 445 contacts, how many did you end up speaking with on the phone? And as a result of campaigning, is there any memorable conversations that you had with the contact you like to share?
Yeah, so I actually engaged in well over 140 conversations, live conversations, that is. I probably transacted emails with yeah, well over 200 of my contacts. Um, One story that really resonates with me is the CEO of a company that conversely mimics what Microsoft does, but out of Mexico, Wiseline. So Bismarck Lepe. Um, I had not spoken with him in maybe 3 years since he was the CEO of Uyala, which was a video platform. And we were able to catch up. He was very pleased to know that I had followed this process, that I had found a home within SCB where I could, fully develop and fully feel accomplished as to um, the level of contribution that I'm able to provide in exchange of my services. So the ability to match my goals with my experience level and with I can contribute to an organization was only matched by going through this process. And Bismarck, who's a very smart, business savvy individual, was very complimentary of of my experience, as well as um, was able to share in a rather short time a lot of what he had gone through, the companies he had started. He started a couple other companies, and managed to share that he was being a little bit more careful with the pandemic, given that he's got family members that are somewhat sensitive or hypersensitive to the conditions. So yeah, so it was a great experience to really catch up with somebody that is really tight for time, and it was very complimentary of my story, and it was just very worth catching up with him.
When you first joined Phello, what was your time commitment to organize your contacts? And did Phello make that process manageable?
Yeah, I've always been in sales, so I guess that's typically something that I do on the daily. But I'd never done it to the extent of which Fellow afforded in the platform. Just because you would have to probably build a similar platform to be able to do that. It's always been more of a, a different approach. Um, so yeah, I've done some work, but yeah, nowhere near to the extent of what was offered by the Fellow platform.
When you first joined Phello, how was your experience building your personal and professional website, and how did your network react to looking at it?
Uh, I had never built a website for me personally. I happened to be in the business, but I had never done that before, and it was very rewarding to get my story out there, to really voice what's important to me and share with people that I care. And having these conversations about, you know, uh, how maybe they liked the picture that I had used, or they liked my story, or they didn't know that I was in the military, or they didn't know some of the things that were important to me. That was very rewarding experience. It was a great way to connect with people in a way that I probably hadn't connected with before.
Has communicating with your network using Fellow helped you to find new opportunities? And how many different interviews did it create for you? And which of them led to a new opportunity?
So fellow probably got me to well over 40 different opportunities, of which 25 I engaged with. I ended up getting 8 offers within 45 days, which I was a man with a purpose, and I made it a mission of mine to move through the process very, very quickly. I don't think I think the process actually works even better if you're willing to spend a little bit more time But for me, it was really on the clock, and I really wanted to get myself out there very, very quickly, especially because it was right before the holidays, and I didn't want the holidays to hinder my ability to maybe negotiate a, a new contract agreement. Um, so so yeah, so from that perspective, I was pretty much uh, a man on a mission, and um, out of the 8 offers, there were 5 that I didn't really consider. There were 3 that I were very promising. And interestingly enough, none of them offered more money or any monetary incentives that were outrageously different from any of the other ones. It was more for the quality of the work, the quality of the company. It was more around what I felt was a better fit for me, my work style.
Would you recommend Phello to others?
Absolutely, I actually, Kurt is probably. Uh, I'm sure that he's impressed with the amount of people I sent his way, because it's been such a rewarding experience, and I've had some colleagues as of recent that were affected by probably the same reorganization I was affected by, and I feel that going through this process is really a great way to find the next step in anybody's career. So absolutely.
Thank you, Ginez, for being a Phello member, and thank you for taking the time to share your experience with Phello. We look forward to reaching out again next quarter to help you communicate with your network.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much to you and Kurt for the great work that you guys do day in, day out. Appreciate it.
If you're actively looking for a full-time role or advisory, board, or consulting opportunity, schedule a call with one of our PCNEs at phello.us/schedule, and make sure to visit Phello at www.hellophello.com.